Hey boys and girls, welcome back, 5th grade math, Mr. Herring. Today we are continuing our unit on the balanced equations. Today we'll be using multiplication and division to do so. We're looking at equations with a variable in it. So if you would please open your journal to the table of contents, and you're going to put in this entry for today. The entry for today is the date 1/17/20. The title is Balanced Equations, Multiplication and Division, and you should be on page 65. You should have all picked up the notes page and the activity page off the front table by the door. If you've not done so, go ahead and do that now. We'll pause the video while everybody gets that done. After you have your date, title, and page number in your table of contents, everyone will go ahead and turn to your page 65 or whatever page you're on, the next two clean pages it should be, and glue down the notes page on the right side. The left side should be clear, clean for you to take notes and solve problems on, okay? So the teacher will pause the video. I'll pause the video while you get your table of contents filled out and the notes glued into page 65. And once you are ready, we will continue. All right, so today our I can statement is, today I can use multiplication and division to balance an equation with a variable like x. Yesterday we learned about that variable being a letter. Talk about letters in math, all right? So today that's what we are focusing on, multiplication and division to balance equations with a variable, all right? So let's do a quick review before we do that. So if I have the equation 24 equals 8 plus 4 plus x, I need to know what is x. Remember, this equal sign means both sides are the same. If I have 24 on the left, I have to have 24 on the right. All right, so the first thing I need to do is solve on the right side, the number part. How much do I have so far? If I look at that, I have 8 plus 4, which is 12. And then I still have the x, so I still have 12 plus x. Then we use our opposite operation. So if I have addition, I'm going to use the opposite operation and my number sense of math fact families to solve for x. So instead of using addition, I'll use subtraction. 24 minus 12 equals x. And we know that 24 minus 12 is 12. So x equals 12. I can check that. 24 equals 8 plus 4 plus 12. 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 plus 12 is 24. So 24 equals 24. So that equation checks out. It's perfect. All right. So now let's go ahead and move on to multiplication and division. All right. So in your notes, you have this question, and we are going to come up with an equation using a strip diagram to come up with an equation and solve this question. All right. So the notes, first question says, Jake is buying a movie ticket and a box of popcorn for $12. The ticket costs 2 times as much as the popcorn. So how much does the popcorn cost? How much does the ticket cost? All right. So on the left side, you have some clean space, or if you have space on the notes, you're free to write on your notes. But wherever you have room, we're going to do this work. So over here, we're going to draw a strip diagram to represent our problem. So let's look at our strip diagram. What do I know? I know that the total for the popcorn is $12 and the movie ticket. I know that 2 times the popcorn equals the ticket. All right? So far, so good. Now we're going to use this diagram to write an equation. So 2 times P plus T equals 12, where P is popcorn and T is the ticket. Now we have to solve this equation. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do this because I know I need a little bit of a guess and check here. So I know that half of 12 is 6. So half of 6 is 3. So then 2 times 3, my popcorn is $3, plus T, which is $6, equals 12. So now I can solve it. So 2 times 3 plus 6 equals 12. All I did was change the letters into numbers. And we can do the math. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 6 equals 12. And that is true. All right. Good job. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to our second question. It says, Katrina buys a package of trading cards. She divides the cards into 4 equal piles. Each pile contains 12 cards. The equation that describes the number of cards in the package is C divided by 4 equals 12. How many cards were in the package when Katrina bought it? All right, so draw a strip diagram to represent this problem. All right, so I will continue, and you can do the same thing on yours. I have a total of, I do not know what the total is here. The total is 12. That's my total. C divided by 4 equals 12. Nope, that's not my total. I'm sorry. Okay. So what I do know here is some number divided by 4. So I've got 4 groups. Some number divided by 4 groups equals 12. So every piece of my strip is 12. I don't know the big number. The big number is here. So now I need to write a related equation. All right, so the opposite of division is multiplication, or we can use a fact family sense here and change this to C divided by 12 equals 4. And then from that we can say the opposite is 12 times 4 equals C, or 4 times 12 equals C. And then we can solve that. 12 times 4 equals 48. So the number of cards were 48 cards. All right. So far, so good. We're going back to that second grade fact family stuff. All right, so in your journal on the left side, let's draw a strip diagram and solve each of these problems. All right. So if I have the big number, I know it is multiplication. So I'm going to draw a strip diagram. What do I know? My total is 128. I know that I have 8 strips. What I don't know is how much is on each strip. So I need to know 8 times what equals D. And I can find that by doing the opposite operation. 128 divided by 8 equals D. So how many times does 8 go into 128? Here we can do the division. 8 goes into 12 once. That gives me 4. Bring down the 8. 8 goes into 48 6 times. 8 times 6 is 48. 0 left over. So I have 16 on each strip. So D equals 16. All right. Do the second one. We can pause whenever you need to pause. What do I know? I have the big number. That's the total. I know I have 9 strips. 1, 2. Oh, I did it again. I don't know the big number. I'm looking for the big number. So I don't know the big number. I do know I have 9 strips. Oh, so difficult to make 9. Try again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I do know that each one is 17. What's the opposite of division? That's right, multiplication. So I take these two numbers and multiply them. 9 times 10 is 90. 9 times 7 is 63. And then we just add 90 plus 63. I get 153 is the total. All right. Again, we have to know our fact family knowledge. Opposite operation, opposite of division is multiplication. Opposite of multiplication is division. Here we go. So the cost of 3 pencils is 96 cents. Each pencil costs the same. What is the cost of 1 pencil? What do I know? I know the total. So this is 96 divided by 1, 2, 3 pieces gives me some number, right? So the equation, the opposite operation of division is P times 3 equals 96. So what can P be? So if I divide, 3 goes into 9, 3 times, 3 goes into 6, 2 times. So P equals 32. So each pencil costs 32 cents. All right? Okay, let's try another one. This time, I don't know the total, but I do know how many pieces, and I know how much is on each piece. So here, instead of division, we'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strips times 15 on each strip will equal B. 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 5 is 30. Put them together and I get 90. So he is planting 90 bulbs. Right? Now, representations. We're going to show our work with an equation first, and we'll use a strip diagram to solve these problems. Okay? So Maria bought a bag of buttons. She divides the buttons equally among 15 containers. Each container has 10 buttons. How many buttons does Maria have? All right, so do I know a total or do I need a total? In this situation, it looks like I need a total. What do I know? She divides the buttons equally among 15 containers, and each container holds 10 buttons. So here, B will be the number of buttons she has. So B equals 10 buttons in each container times 15 containers. So then B equals 150. If I think about that in a strip diagram, it would be a really big strip diagram. I do not have a total. I do know I have 15 containers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 containers. And there are 10 on each strip for each container. If I add all of these up, it gives me a total of 150. So she has 150 buttons. All right, let's try one more like that. Let's draw some strip diagrams and solve each of these problems, okay? So on the back or on the left side of your journal, you should have some room. Let's look at here, 6M. When we see a letter next to a number without a symbol, we know that's going to be multiplication. So 6 times M equals 78. So let's start with a strip diagram. What do I know? Do I have a total? Yes, I do have a total. 78 is my total. I know there are 6 strips. What I don't know is how many are in each strip. So how do I find the missing number on each strip here? The opposite of multiplication is division. So 78 divided by 6 equals M. And if I do the math, 6 divided into 78, 6 goes into 7 one time. Bring down the 8. 6 goes into 18 3 times. 18, nothing left over. So on each strip we have 13. So here m equals 13. All right, second one. First, I'm going to start off with a strip diagram. First thing I know is 7 equals b divided by 17. B would be my big number. I don't know what my big number is, but I do know that I have 7 strips. And on each strip, there are 17 pieces. So the opposite of division is multiplication. So 17 times 7 equals b. The way I taught you, 7 times 10 is 70. 7 times 7 is 49. 70 plus 49 is 119. So b equals 119. Right? So that is multiplication and division using balanced equations with a variable. What you are going to do now is work 1 through 6 in your collaborative groups, solving each one of these problems. When you are done, you will turn them in and then get an iPad if you have time to do extra math. If you finish that, you may read quietly until the end of class. Have a great weekend. If you have questions, raise your hand and we can help. All right. Thanks, guys.